The Division has undergone several transformations since it first launched back in March, but the core shoot and loot setup remains an exhausting time sink that's both aggravating and exhilarating. Whether you're still smitten with its grindy loot system or surrendered to its bullet sponge enemies months ago, the game's first paid expansion, Underground, offers an enticing package that includes new gear sets, a third incursion, and an entirely new way to engage the game, Underground Operations. According to this simple yet sound narrative framing, the forces you fought during the campaign have since regrouped in New York's labyrinthine subway system, and it's up to you to flush them out. The resulting missions play like a strictly cooperative PvE version of the more PvP-focused Dark Zone, though Underground's operations function more like a new mode than a new area. Operations take place away from the open-world setting in randomized dungeons, allowing for discrete, repeatable missions with adjustable difficulty and gameplay variables. Despite being randomized, levels end up looking just as detailed as the desolate city above, with creepy lighting and believable destruction throughout. Areas seem to fit together naturally, too. Though I encountered a few strange bottlenecks and began to recognize certain reused sections after several hours, I was consistently impressed with the variety of the level layouts. And although Underground's tunnels are populated with the same enemies you fought topside, they've developed some new tricks that noticeably impact the flow of combat, namely alarms, environmental traps, and jammers that disable your special abilities.
Jamming device active.
For even greater variety, you can apply any combination of Underground's 5 directives to any mission. Each one handicaps your team in some way, from disabling the minimap and directional damage indicators to steadily draining your health as you play. But all of them grant you bonus loot and XP if you're successful. It's a clever way to add an enjoyable, optional challenge and extend Underground's longevity. Unfortunately, Underground forces you to unlock new directives one at a time over the course of many, many hours. The one upside to those hours of padding, Underground's operations are probably the most reliable source of quality loot in the entire game. Every mission ends with a boss and a loot chest, both of which tend to yield high-end weapons or better, and every time you level up, you're gifted a cache containing a random item. Anyone who spent days grinding through dailies in order to earn a high-end gun knows exactly how exciting this is, especially since Underground also adds 4 new armor sets. For the uninitiated, equipping 2 or more items from the same set unlocks special stat bonuses. In this case, those bonuses boost particular playstyles, subtly but smartly encouraging you to carve out a specific role. Each set offers something unique that's worth working towards, which, combined with the addition of weapons and items with a 240 gear score, makes the Division's loot metagame alluring again. The one annoying drawback to Underground's generous reward system: desirable vendor items still require Phoenix credits. Even though I had a stash full of high-end weapons, I didn't have enough Phoenix credits to buy items or blueprints since there was still no way to sell gear for anything besides basic currency. If all this talk of gear scores and Phoenix credits has you confused, don't worry. Underground actually provides a reasonable re-entry point for lapsed players. You'll be miserable for the first couple hours as you try to figure out how the game's changed. But if you overcome this opening hurdle, Underground's gear rewards will catch you up quickly. Solo players be warned though, every Underground mission is a no respawn zone. If you die even once, you're booted back to base. Honestly, it's not worth playing alone. Like, at all. Beyond its random dungeons and added gear sets, Underground's other major addition is the Division's 3rd incursion, Dragon's Nest, which, despite some fiery BS, is the strongest of the 3. This time around, the usual grenade spam is also accompanied by stealthy, speedy RC cars that explode into flames and, if you're under 200 gear score, will probably down you in one shot.
Warning. An agent on your team requires aid immediately.
You'll also have to deal with 4 simultaneous bosses who emerge from all 4 corners of a rooftop arena, all while snipers and shotgunners consistently force you out of cover. In a perverse way, however, the extreme challenge is a good thing. It forces your squad to work together and potentially makes all your loot hunting pay off. Plus, the final room, which requires you to flip switches while avoiding entire sections of the floor as they burst into flames, is more thoughtful, creative, and distinctive than anything we've seen from an incursion before. It might be a pain, but Dragon's Nest is definitely a step in the right direction. fact, the same could be said for Underground as a whole. The unnecessary leveling system might slow the fun, and solo players may suffer, but even agents diving back in after months away can now enjoy the new gameplay variations and pick-up-and-play nature of the 15 to 20-minute operations. Assuming they haven't burned out entirely, that is.